Have you ever looked at someone else's life and thought, why am I not there yet? Why do we scroll through social media, see a perfect body, a flashy car, or a smiling couple on vacation, and suddenly feel like our own life isn't enough? Why is it so easy to compare? Before we dive into what Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the greatest Stoic minds in history, had to say about this modern-day disease of comparison, take a second. If you've ever felt insecure, jealous, or even lost, this video is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe to the Untroubled Stone, and stay with me to the end, because this might just change how you approach success, love, and your own worth. You don't want to miss what's coming. Why this matters. Imagine this, you're 32. You're sitting alone at night in a tiny apartment. You've worked hard, done all the right things, and yet there's this gnawing feeling inside. You log onto Instagram. One friend just bought a house. Another got engaged. Someone else started a six-figure business. And you're heating leftover noodles in a microwave that sparks when it runs too long. Now here's the kicker. These people aren't enemies. They're not evil. But your heart sinks. You ask, what's wrong with me? That feeling right there, that silent self-torture, that is what Marcus Aurelius warned us about nearly 2,000 years ago. He never had Instagram. He never saw a TikTok, but he understood human nature better than most psychologists do today. So let's build this together, not just to understand Marcus's wisdom, but to live it. Let's break down his 10 most powerful suggestions on why you should never compare yourself to anyone. 1. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. You fear not being rich, not being admired, not being married by 30. But Marcus flips it. You should fear not living your own life. That person you're comparing yourself to, they're living their path, not yours. And every second you spend measuring your worth by someone else's story, you're avoiding your own. There's a man named Cassius. In the Roman military, he was always jealous of his brother's position. His brother led legions, got attention from the Senate, was praised in public squares. Cassius trained harder, spoke louder, tried to outshine him. But Marcus, upon hearing of Cassius's obsession, said simply, a man who envies does not understand his own strength. And that's our first truth. You fear being less than others, but the real fear should be never becoming yourself. To waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. We post, we tweet, we watch hours of self-help content. But at the end of the day, are we becoming better or just looking better? Marcus didn't want his people to debate virtue. He wanted them to embody it. There was once a blacksmith named Octavius in Rome. He worked in a smoky corner of the city. No recognition, no followers, but he forged tools that helped feed thousands. A philosopher asked Marcus, why do you visit the blacksmith? He's nobody. Marcus replied, he is not nobody. He is becoming excellent without needing to be seen. You don't need to win a spotlight war. You need to win the quiet battle of character. Though look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. We compare because we look outward, but Marcus demands we look inward. He believed that each person had what he called a divine spark, a reservoir of strength, reason, and resilience. There was a young Roman girl named Livia, mocked for her stutter and awkwardness. She begged her father to let her leave school. He gave her a quote from Marcus instead. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. She stayed, she grew, and years later, became one of Rome's most respected writers because she stopped comparing and started creating. So ask yourself, what are you neglecting within, while obsessing over what's shining without? 4. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Jealousy isn't just an emotion. It's a mental habit that stains the soul. Marcus knew this, and he knew the cure was discipline, not punishment, discipline. Every time you compare yourself, you allow someone else to color your thoughts, and those colors fade fast into bitterness. A senator once told Marcus, I resent those who are born into wealth. I had to earn every coin. Marcus replied, then you possess something they do not, the pride of building. Why resent what is below your strength? See, comparison is weakness masquerading as honesty, but discipline, that's strength choosing peace. 5. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is one of Marcus's most famous lines, but think about how it applies to comparison. That jealousy, that envy, that sense of not being enough, that is the impediment. And if you face it, if you stop turning away from that uncomfortable feeling and walk into it, it becomes the fuel for transformation. Let me tell you about Aurelius. He was a Roman merchant who watched his best friend grow rich by exploiting others. Aurelius stayed honest, slow, ethical. One day, the empire needed reliable suppliers. Aurelius's name rose through the Senate. Why? Because he was the only one who hadn't compromised. Jealousy delayed him. But Marcus would say it didn't stop him. It shaped him. What stands in your way might be the very path you're meant to walk. 6. Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess. You want his car, her relationship, their lifestyle. But Marcus tells you, gratitude isn't a cliche. It's a weapon. He kept a daily journal, not of goals, but of gratitudes. He wrote about the smell of bread, the discipline of his teachers, the smile of a soldier after battle. Gratitude was his armor against envy. You're not poor because you don't have what someone else does. You're poor when you forget what you already hold. 7. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? Comparison breeds resentment, and resentment leads to anger. But here's the dark irony, you're never angry at them. You're angry at you for not being them. And that, Marcus warns, is self-destruction. He wrote once about a gladiator who poisoned his rival. He was caught and executed. Marcus remarked, had he mastered his spirit as well as his sword, he would still live. Comparison poisons quietly. It ruins love, creativity, peace. So next time you feel that heat rising in your chest, ask, is this anger helping me rise or making me rot? 8. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Everyone's timeline is different. That influencer you envy? You don't see the therapy, the broken nights, the bankruptcies. Marcus didn't judge others' paths, but he held himself to a brutal standard. Not for the sake of perfection, but because he knew, if you compare yourself to others, you become bitter. If you compare yourself to your potential, you become better. Choice: if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Comparison tempts you to fake it, to post a version of your life that isn't real. Marcus hated falsehood. To him, the cost of pretending was the loss of peace. You don't need to fake success. You need to define it. There's a baker in your town. He doesn't have a Lambo, but every morning he gives warmth to hundreds. He sleeps easy, he wins. That's real. 10. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This is the final and most essential teaching. You control one thing, your mind. Not their salary, not her beauty, not his fame. Just your thoughts. And from those thoughts, your entire life unfolds. Marcus's journey wasn't about glory. It was about mastery. Not over Rome, but over himself. And so must yours be. You began this video maybe feeling less than someone else. But hear me, you are not broken. You are not behind. You are not late. You're exactly where you need to be if you choose to start living from within, not in reaction to what's outside. Marcus Aurelius didn't want followers. He wanted thinkers, builders, quiet warriors of character. Be one. Call to action strong, direct. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the Untroubled Stone, like the video, and most importantly, share it with someone who's struggling to feel enough. Watch it again when you need to. Reflect on it. Live it. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.